What is up, guys? In this video I'm gonna try to do like a little DIY on how to change your Eccentric shaft sensor seal and the Valvetronic motor gasket. And as you can see, there's some oil around the seal there. I don't know when it started leaking, but I assume when I took off the valve cover, when I did the valve cover gasket replacement, that probably messed up the tight seal it had. And I'm pretty sure the seal hasn't been replaced at all, so I'm gonna do that one, which is the Eccentric shaft sensor seal. And then this seal over here for the Valvetronic motor. As you can see, there's like a bunch of oil residue dried up right there. So yeah, I'm gonna just do those two things. Alright, first we're gonna start off with the Eccentric shaft sensor seal here. The first thing I wanna do is disconnect this connector here. And to that, you just get underneath these little tabs here and unhook the little piece that sticks out and hooks into the little opening on each side. So once you get one side, hold it up and then just do the other side. You just want to get underneath and just pull up and it'll come out like that. And just put it off to the side. And then once you get it off, you just want to take a flathead screwdriver and just try to get underneath this seal here. So what I've noticed is that the seal has like kind of like, I'm assuming, melted off and like kind of stuck to the valve cover itself. So it's not like the easiest thing to slide a screwdriver underneath, but it's possible. I did it by using some pliers, and just kind of grabbing one section of it and kind of lifting up, kind of forcing it up a little bit. And I did that a couple times and it lifted up, like, because I'm assuming there's like a metal piece on the outer rim of the seal because it feels solid when I was trying to dig a screwdriver in there. So once you lift it up with the pliers, you should be able to stick a screwdriver in there and just continuously, don't force it out, just kind of put a little bit of pressure. Once you get underneath, just push down and you'll see it start to kind of stick up. But I don't know how stuck this is on here, so I'm gonna take it just nice and slow around the whole seal. Looks like I almost got it on this side. This thing is really stuck on there. There we go, I think I got it. There we go, I got it. Yeah, that looks like it was melted on there. And I have a new seal here, so we're gonna go ahead and put that in. Before you put it in, you're gonna want to coat it with some engine oil. So you can just get some oil here from where you pour your oil in. Just like wipe a little on the edge or on the edge here. Just wipe it around the seal, the part that goes inside here. Alright, then when you got it all oiled up, you put it in here. Actually, maybe I should clean that first a little bit. There are a little bit of abrasions from when I stuck the screwdriver underneath. It doesn't look too serious, so I think we should still be fine. So when you're ready, go ahead and put this in here, like that. And then to stick it in, you'll just want to use like a socket, a little socket here, 30mm. And put it on top, and then just press down on it until it's inside the engine. Give it a nice force. And then it'll just pop right in. Just like that. And once you're done with everything, you just clip the connector back in, just put it in there and then just press, and you're good to go. Alright, so that was the Eccentric shaft sensor seal. It was pretty easy, only took like 20 minutes total. Just make sure that you don't use too much force when pulling it out. Just be patient and just gently push up around the seal, and you should be able to get it out after you do it a good amount of times. Alright, now we're gonna do the Valvetronic motor gasket here. This one should be easy too. Not as easy as this one, but just a little bit more difficult. So first you're gonna wanna unclip the connector here behind it. Just simply push on the two tabs on the side and just wiggle it out. And it should pop out like that. Alright, so I'm gonna remove this whole piece here that has all the connections to the ignition coils, because it's in the way a little bit of this bottom bolt that's underneath here. Here. I think that's freed up a little bit more room for this to fit. So the bottom one is held on by E8 Torx. So I have an E8 Torx socket here. And we're gonna try to get under there. Alright, so I switched over to a socket wrench with a 3-inch extension and a swivel, and the E Torx socket. So I'm gonna try to get this bottom one out now. Alright, so now there's just 4 screws left. It's gonna be these 2 here, and then 2 on the other side over here. The ones in the inner part of the gasket are E8s, the same as the one at the bottom here. And then, I'm not actually sure which ones those are, but we'll find out. So the ones on the outer part of the gasket are gonna be T30s. So just get a T30 Torx bit. Now before you take the 2 inner screws out, you're gonna wanna use a 4mm Allen and stick it in this little hole here. And then, let's see. You're gonna wanna, once you stick it in, you're gonna wanna turn it clockwise until you feel tension. And then you can stop. Alright, I feel tension, so I'm gonna take it out now. And then you're gonna wanna get your E8 Torx socket. And then you can start loosening the 2 inner screws here. other side. Here we go. You should just be able to loosen it by hand once you get to this point. So with these screws, you don't want to take them out just all at once, all in one spin here. You want to take them out only like about halfway maybe, and then stop. And then you're gonna put your 4mm Allen back in. And you're just gonna rotate it counterclockwise, excuse me. And it'll start, you'll see it start to move back out towards your hand. And then once you feel tension again, you're gonna loosen up the bolts again. And again, don't remove the bolts all the way out. Just only remove them a little bit more out so that the motor has a little bit more room to back out of. Back in here, turn it to the counterclockwise again, and you'll see it's starting to back out. And more tension. Actually, you can just leave that in there. And again, don't take the bolts out all the way, just do it a little bit. The bolts actually came out okay. So then at this point you can take the bolts out. Once you see the bolts already almost out. Here we go. Now there's oil on both of those screws. Let's put those off to the side. So you're going to want to remove the last two ignition coils here. Just unclip them, don't remove them. So you can move the harness a little bit out of the way so you can get the motor out. Alright, once you get all three clips off, there's one clip here, here, and then one underneath this thing right here, which is the hardest one. But if you just stick your hand underneath there and press against it, you should be able to push the part that holds onto the clip in, and then you just pull up and it'll unclip. And once you got that done, you can hold this harness like a little bit farther away from the Valvetronic motor, and then you just pull it towards you and then just wiggle it out like so. And there you got it. It's your Valvetronic motor. And off to the side. Now we can take the last two outer bolts off to remove the gasket. So we get our T30 Torx bit, and we can go ahead and remove these two outer screws. Getting caught in the socket pinch. Put on the hand, we got that last screw out now. Alright, except I need a screwdriver. There we go. Here's the old one. I want to clean it up a little bit. Here's our new gasket that I got from FCP Euro. By the way, that's probably the best place to get any BMW parts. That's where I have gotten every single one of my parts. So yeah, definitely recommend that if you're looking for parts. Alright, when you're putting the new gasket back on, make sure to put it on the right way up. These outer screws, they're supposed to be on the upper part of this little section here. So it fits properly. If you put it upside down, these are going to be on the bottom side of this little section here, which is the wrong way to put it. So just put it in place. And go ahead and put the outer screws in here. Alright, once you have the gaskets screwed onto there, you're going to need to put the Valvetronic motor back in. This only goes in one way. You can tell just by where the connection is. It's on the top, so that's the way you put it in. You're going to take your 4mm Allen, and then you're going to put it in here again, and then you're just going to turn it clockwise, and it's going to cause the Valvetronic motor to just be pulled in to the opening here. Once you get it in here, once you get it seated, you can just turn it clockwise, and you'll see it pulls itself in very smoothly, and both the screws on the inner part of the gasket will align just right. Once you feel tension again, you're good to go, and you can install the two E8 screws in the center part of the gasket. Another way to tell if you've pulled it in all the way is just look at the bottom bolt, and to make sure the hole from the Valvetronic motor and the hole from this little metal piece here align so that the screw goes through. That lets you know that you're good. So once it's all the way in, you can take your two screws and start threading them in by hand. And then we can do the bottom bolt here. Alright, so you can go ahead and just tighten this bottom one down. And then go ahead and tighten these down. Let's probably start with this first. Once they're tightened by hand, you want to use the socket wrench to tighten them a little bit more. Don't tighten them too much, obviously, but tighten them enough that they're tight. Now we can just go ahead and clip the ignition connector harness back onto the clips here. Let's see. Alright, so once you have everything connected back in and the Valvetronic motor's all secured in, the last thing you're going to want to do is take your 4mm Allen again, and you're going to turn it counterclockwise this time. Counterclockwise, and then you're going to turn it until you feel tension, the same as when you first took it off, when you're turning it clockwise. But this time counterclockwise until you feel tension. Alright, start to feel tension. And then you could stop. And then you could put the connector back in. And then that's it. That's the complete process of replacing this gasket here for the Valvetronic motor. So what you're going to want to do after you're done with everything with the Valvetronic motor, you're going to want to come inside and put the car into the, what mode is it called? So just press the button, the start button, twice. So what this does is helps the Valvetronic motor relearn the stop points. So yeah, just do that a couple times. You should be able to hear like some noise from the engine, and that's the Valvetronic motor moving. Alright, once you've done that a few times, you can just go ahead and start the car. So there you have it, guys. That's how you do those two gaskets. The job is fairly easy if you have all the tools and watch and follow my steps. You should be able to do this in maybe an hour, 2 hours, depending on how often you work on your car. But yeah, just a couple more things about it. So with those two gaskets and the oil filter housing gasket, which is what I also changed, but I didn't get to film a video on it, unfortunately. That's 3 gaskets that I replaced now, and those are also the 3 gaskets that were leaking oil. So that should get rid of all my oil leaks on this car. A few months ago I replaced the valve cover gasket, so that's 4 gaskets now. So far those were the only places where I saw an oil leak. Now that those are in, all the oil leaks should be gone. A couple other things. I also replaced this coolant hose flange here. If I can focus, which is this piece right here. Basically, I had to take it off because this bolt right here to take off the oil filter housing gasket, there was no room there. So I tried to take it off, but then I was kind of afraid to, so I ended up not. So I kind of unscrewed it, but then I screwed it right back in, and then I guess that caused a little coolant to start leaking on the bottom here. So it wasn't leaking a lot, so it wasn't like a serious issue, but so I decided to get a new flange since it was leaking. So I found this aluminum one off of eBay for like $40. And I replaced the plastic one that came stock with the engine. It was pretty bad. When I took out that one, the plastic one, it was like broken off. Half of it was still like in this little hole here where it sits in. So it was just completely broken, which is why I was leaking. But once I replaced this new one here, this aluminum in here, it stopped the leak, and it hasn't been leaking ever since. So with this aluminum one, this should last like forever. So hope that solves that issue and won't ever have to go back to that one. And I recommend doing that if you have a high mileage E90. So yeah, unfortunately I didn't get to do videos on the oil filter housing gasket and the flange that I switched because I'm not used to doing videos of, I'm not used to filming myself doing stuff to my car. So I'm trying to get used to it now. I was able to do it for this video. But from now on, I'm gonna try to film myself whenever I work on my car. So yeah, that'll be coming soon whenever I get new parts or anything. But anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you have any questions or comments, feel free to comment them down below in the video or message me on Instagram. If you haven't followed me on Instagram, follow me. But yeah, hope you guys enjoyed. I'll see you on the next one.